All right, now we got ourselves in a nasty mindset. Let's talk about beholders.
Yeah. They like to look at everything, even the bad
Behold.
stuff.
They are so good at looking at
Behold.
stuff. They are beholding you, and you are ugly to them. You are not beautiful. Nothing is beautiful to them except them.
They are perfection. They are perfect cell. Um,
They are shaped like a cell.
I well, I would say that is a big thing with beholders that I really love is how they started off from this goofy ass little ball with just a big old fucking eye, and that's like I don't know. It's so simple but perfect. It is such an iconic like D&D original.
Yeah.
Fucking,
Yeah.
I they're they're just fucking cool. They add they're really easy to put into games too. Like you could
Mhm.
just have a beholder, and it enough said.
Yeah, because they are always going to be a point of contention because they are xenophobic, but
Mhm.
it's because they're not from here and they don't really want to be here. So that's a good thing. It's like, oh, well, I kind of feel sorry for you, but also you're really hateful
You're terrible.
in every way possible. So you need to die.
Yeah. Yeah, I was scrolling through the art like all through the years. I love like 1 and 2E, they're completely goofy. Like 1E, a lot of art was goofy, but 2E, they kind of doubled down on just adding more strange details.
Yeah.
3E and 4Es when they're trying to make them more intimidating, and 5E felt like kind of a middle ground between the two.
Yeah.
Because some Beholder 5ER is like kind of leaning to the goofy side, and some is leaning
Oh
to the more
yeah.
hardcore style. I think it just depends on your artist, which I like. There's not a universal look to them. It fits that all of them look unique in their own way.
That fits their lore, but that's a really cool point that them looking goofy does not make them less scary.
Oh, they're
It
terrifying.
Mhm.
makes them like uncanny.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like I love the variety too because there is surprisingly like because 5e will sometimes be lacking for some like extra things, but beholders are on it. There are so many different
Yeah.
beholders like death kisses and like the fucking there's
Gazers.
also the gazers. They have like good options for like little minions as well, like with
Mhm.
that with it's like you got
I think that is the gazer.
spectator,
Yeah.
gazer, fucking
Yeah.
Onlooker, voyeur. Gotta
vo-
love the voyeur.
That'd be awesome. Just voyeur beholder. It's like the one that just
They'd be great intel collectors. They know everything about you.
get out of here.
Stalker is Stalker one?
I don't think so, but these are good. I feel like the wordplay is honestly like really fucking great with them. Um.
There are stalkers in RuneScape,
Oh hey,
and they
let's
look like little
go.
beholders. Yeah, they have like two little talon claws. That's fun.
Let's see.
Ah,
According
I'm
to DM Dave, we got an eyesore. Is that original? That thing looks amazing. I don't know if that's original or not.
Eyesore has to be original. That's definitely not a real thing.
Yeah, it is literally just a big compilation of eyeballs. That looks sick though.
I think there was like a nerdarchy thing that I always wanted to
Oh,
use, which
man.
was there was a beholder that was basically it was just a big mouth and all the stalks were replaced with hands and it was called a withholder and all it would do is it had like as many reactions as it did tendrils and its reaction would slap your hand away from something.
Mhm.
So it's just like the idea is it would just be put over a treasure hoard and it's just eating the entire hoard, so as you try to stop it it just slaps you. It's like no.
Because they normally have the anti-magic field. It's just
Yeah,
like an anti-action field with like, no, stop.
shut
Like
up,
grapple you,
stop,
throw you
no.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, literally it just
That's
grabs you,
awesome.
throws you. Stop! I'm hungry.
Oh, yeah, there's eye tyrants as well, the upgraded beholders.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yes.
think those are the undead ones. Or no,
Mm.
those are
Um,
like death tyrants, I
Or
think.
yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
there's death tyrants. Then
which
there's also
also
zombie beholders. They're their own unique thing as well.
I've
Oh yeah.
used or I've not used, but I remember playing
Undead
against
beholder.
one,
Death
which was
tyrant. That's the name of them.
oh man, I guess I have a question.
Mhm.
Do you ever fuck around with the spells that beholders have? Like, do you ever? I like
Yeah.
randomizing them.
Yeah.
I
One thing
The cool
Xanthar does where he has a bunch of rings stuck on his eye stalks to give him
oh
extra
yeah.
abilities. I like messing with that and not really making them magical. I kind of like the arcane and the far realm stuff being a separate thing. Like maybe he recreates some magical effects like telekinesis and stuff like that, but I like these separate things. But him like taking magical items and using them, I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah. I because the way that they reproduce, which I touched on in like my
Oh, I
top
love
5
that.
videos, is they will dream because they're afraid of everything. They have like I don't know how they regulate their blood pressure, but their anxiety is through the fucking roof. And when they dream, they'll think of something that can defeat them, something slightly stronger than them, or something that attacks their own weaknesses. Love that mug, by the way, Chuck. That's really cool.
Mm.
And when they wake up, because they're beings that are practically from dreams, they will manifest it.
Yeah, and
Imagine manifesting that bag, and then that bag kills you.
yeah, that's kind of how Blood Kiss is made because in
Mhm.
that particularly bloody dream, it creates one.
Yeah. So I think in that same vein, like they would start making infinite variants that exploit others. So if you like got in the right room, you could have a beholder attack another beholder that is weirdly powerless against it.
Yeah,
Honestly, yeah. I have had surprisingly, like I'm realizing now, beholders are an enemy that I have used like honestly a ton. Like I want to say I've used beholders in games more than 5 times already at this point.
How many
And
times have you used beholders?
once or no, actually no. I used them 3 times because I did the
Hey.
one on Tall Tales.
Mm-hmm.
okay.
I did another one on I did another one as like a little side thing with some buddies.
I was not there.
And the last one I actually had for like my main game, and they've got to finally like see the fully realized idea of like what I wanted to do with the beholder, which was having like that was also its own like thing of just oh I had a setup of its whole like specific shtick was not only did it have like the normal like beholder like anti magic and everything, but it could fucking like spit out this honey bile that it would cocoon people that it would trap them
Mm.
in, and it would turn them into like it was very. I've had this idea for so long that it's like they basically had these chimera ant style enemies where it's just like oh they fused like 2 people together and what would come out is this giant hulking like bee person. I had Beeple that they fought and
People.
it was like this thing of like oh it's like ogre sized big as fuck has like one set of arms but they're like big beefy arms and they have like these like 4 legs below them and on top of that it's just like oh this creepy ass looking thing like struts up. The players are like what the fuck is that, and then it like shinks out like Wolverine style these big fucking stingers out of the forearm, and
That's
it's like
sick.
finally everything like leads up to just like what is causing all this, what is this, and then the fucking bee I called it a bee horror in my fucking game, but it like came out of nowhere, and the moment it pops up, the players are like, "Oh shit!"
That's awesome.
Let's see. So your spitting beholder was created by a beholder falling asleep listening to the Hawk Tuah podcast.
Yes, it was tossing and turning, just like
Spitter.
no more Hawk Tua.
No.
No, no, not Pookie.
Oh,
I
that is the
think,
fun thing. Is just it can manifest just
yeah,
suddenly somewhere.
it can manifest any type of thing that it thinks is like equal to, in a weird sense, itself. Because they think they're above everything. So the one thing that they
Yes.
would naturally fear is something that is above, or at the very least equal to them.
Yeah, which
Kind of in the same way that aboliths do. So this whole time, like since we started the podcast, I've been thinking they're big circle guys. what are the odds that there's like the Venom planet out there that is just one big beholder?
That is a thing in Spelljammer, I
There,
think.
there is the
That's a
asteroid
thing.
beholder. Like they're not called beholders, but basically that's
Oh, the
kind of what they look like.
asteroiders.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not an
The
expert.
what?
There's
Yeah,
the
there's
what?
asteroiders.
There's ast eaters?
So it is a
Whoa.
giant.
no.
It is a giant. No, they're called asteroiders.
I
I
know,
know.
but-
I know that the 5e version doesn't fucking like call them asteroiders because they're fucking cowards, but they're called asteroiders. Like
Good.
they're just like these cool. I actually did a goofy ass little fucking video on them.
Yeah, you did a drawing of one not too long ago, didn't you?
Yeah. And it's just literally like just a
Jesus
beholder that pretends that it's a big asteroid, and it's like, oh well, you're out in space. It just like a asteroid just opens up. It's a big fucking eyeball, and it attacks you.
Okay.
um,
So, what does it do when it attack you?
Well.
let me tell you, it has advantage on flanking.
And there are some characters that are immune to the attacks only because they don't see them as hostile.
Oh no.
That's when you roll the charisma checks.
You don't roll initiative.
I, I was wondering. I was seeing conflicting names of what they were online. That makes sense. I will remember to. I'm just going to suffer and call them Aster Eaters, and all my party's just going to be pointing and laughing at me like, you said something silly. I'm like, shut up. Shut up.
Keep the name. It's important. I want an NPC to be like, oh no, it's an asteroider.
Don't,
Anything but that.
don't
And
eat
that
my
guy-
Like your
Aster.
asteroids.
Butthole
But Holio the asteroid.
Yeah, because I was trying to remember if they were taking the Beholder or not. But yeah, Beholder Planet, that'd be crazy.
Be
That'd be a
like
Death Star,
Ego,
basically.
the living planet.
His laser
I mean-
will literally be a Death Star beam.
Yeah.
That would be honestly, I would like switch it up to just have it, because if it's like some big space thing, I feel like it should be very over the top. It should be some fucking thing of just starts blasting shit.
You know,
That'd be awesome.
that could theoretically happen, because if we apply like the idea of human collective unconsciousness to the far realm, if all beholders are inherently scared of beholder, if all them coalesced like a bunch of Kuatoas can create like a being of fear, what if all the beholders' fears all coalesced into one entity, which was that giant beholder?
Oh.
Like yeah,
Like the omniscient beholder, the one who watches all things.
Oh,
That would just be like a. It would have to be evil because that's the only kind of thoughts that they have. It would just the like
Yeah.
abhorrer, maybe something
I
that
like-
abhors all reality.
Yeah, so
And
imagine
watches
the
it.
station
idea-
of fears and desires. I'm imagining it just be like this dead zone in space where if you get too close to it, everything just gets evaporated.
I
I'm
love
gonna
the
make a
idea of
note.
just like it's just called like the Watcher or something like that. Just rip off Marvel, and it's just
Yeah.
like this fucking.
I think abhorrer would be a really good name for that because it
Abhorrer.
sees everything and it abhors it.
I like that actually.
Is it-
I do like that. That's no, that plays a lot more into it.
Are you writing that down, Logan?
yeah.
I've started writing down the ones homebrew ideas we have as well to make them later. Because I really like the idea since, as I said before, I'm a psychology major. I'm a freaking brain dork. I
Oh.
like that collective subconscious ideas and things going to it. So
The id.
yeah, that idea of a beholder planet-sized, like basically a god amongst beholders, being just this manifestation of all beholders' fear, so being the most paranoid schizo being in the universe.
Because they would have to fear themselves
Yeah.
and like a better version of themselves. They don't fear anything good because they know good is easily manipulatable.
Mhm.
So it would be like steadfast and nightmarish,
Yeah.
I do love.
confident
I'm like-
even.
I'm
Oh, sorry.
picturing this thing of like you enter like if it is like this giant beholder, like this fucking planet-sized beholder. It's just like it's fucking. like playing into the sight stuff, I just love the idea of like, oh, it just starts to manifest eyes around you. Like as you're like coming closer, it's just like fucking eyes just like constantly watching you, constantly shooting out little spells as you're like you could have interactions with it as you're going, like you're dealing with its own little spawn that are like coming out like its own little tiny gazers or spectators or whatever, and
What
it's
if-
just throughout all of it suddenly like in the middle of fights it's just like an eye opens up out of nowhere and just fires a beam at you or something, or it's just like
What if it had an
it's just
asteroid belt of eyes going around it?
That's what I was
that would
thinking.
kick ass.
Because they live in like dream states, so this thing would manifest as almost a fully living dream. I would picture this idea of like an asteroid belt that is dormant, and when it feels or is afraid of an intruder, there would be this pulse that turns them all into eyes, and they all like turn on you.
I like that.
You know what it should be?
What's
It should basically be like this little ball, like planet ball kind of, or not little, but it's gonna be like this planet ball. It has the asteroid belts, but it's like the fucking biblically accurate angel kind of thing of
Oh,
just all
the
these eyes like
throne
going,
angels.
Yeah, I was thinking
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, like just all these fucking eyes like coming off of it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it would be. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
because if
Yeah.
it had like a Saturn ring-like texture, kind of, but it was all eyes, like a throne, where it just had a bunch of wheels and circles looping upon themselves that were all covered in ice. Oh, I like
No,
this.
honestly, yeah, that would kick
X-Phone.
ass.
Well, thank you for taking my idea and making it 10 million times better.
You're welcome, Bob.
That's the next video.
It is bizarre how many things you can do to a beholder once you like have it in captivity, for how hard they are to like knock unconscious or pull captive, because there's mind flayers that have taken them
I
and
was gonna
converted
say,
them.
yeah.
There's a number of undead somehow, and um
Well, I assume that was the conventional take it down and revive it method.
but reviving one is weird because their bodies aren't like undead aberrations doesn't really sit with me that well. I don't understand exactly how that functions.
It's I guess like
You
I'm
definitely could
a
make. Yeah, because they mostly would probably be all cartilagey, cause going by kind of like Mind Flare and Cephalopod logic.
Yeah.
mhm.
Well,
Like
no,
honestly,
no Death Tire has a skull. Never mind. So they gotta have some bones to them.
Death Kiss
because
is
I'm
good. The goth is weird.
I guess
Where's that
it
word
fits
supposed
just
to
in the fact that it's like a living thing, but I do kind of get what you're getting at. Is just like it shouldn't follow these rules.
Mhm.
Um, it's I would say because there's I don't know what would you find?
I can't say this on the podcast. You guys know what a goth is, right? A GAUTH.
Oh, yes.
So I was like, where did that word come from? Because everything else is like a something relating to the eyeball. So I was like, oh, what is that? And it's an AI study company where you can steal homework from AI, but it's
Ah.
also this.
Oh,
Wait, let me. That might not be right.
oh, I see.
No, there's a worse definition. But yeah, let's move away from that while I do.
Okay. I was going to make the. I'm glad I didn't make the joke I was going to make. So yeah, I used to date a goth, and then
Oh yeah,
that's not what I did. That's not what I did.
Goth beholder, beholder waifu.
that's
Oh, that's definitely not what I used to date. Anyways,
yeah, yeah.
don't Google that. Don't do it,
Don't
please. Whatever you do,
literally do not.
we usually
Immediately,
say,
everyone's
"Hey,
typing.
do some homework. Learn the stuff we're learning in this episode. Don't do your homework this time."
They're like immediately
Just
just
trust us.
Yeah, I
no,
wanted to.
I love. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
The other thing I wanted to kind of go into is something I think is interesting. Is one of the things that was added over time is beholders actually do have a natural life cycle. Is apparently they reach maturity by age 2, and they they're basically past 90. That is where their bodies start to decompose, and they say around 120 to 150 is when a beholder would just die of natural causes if it was like in perfect like condition. Which
That's weird that they can age and die. That seems like
yeah,
something that they would like psychically fear so much that they avoid.
I
I guess that's how
know.
you get a death tyrant.
Maybe
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
Well, yeah,
or
yeah,
just like a
yeah.
withered beholder, which is even creepier. Just like a big old wrinkly floating sack that just like eyeballs are shifting through. Um, all its tendrils are flaccid now.
Oh no, it can't bring them up. They just roll around on the floor.
A peen holder.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, my eyes dropped.
But yeah, no, I thought that was interesting because most far realm beings I just kind of associate with being eternal because like makes you wonder if mind flayers even have a natural life cycle like that.
Well, that's the fun thing with mind flayers is that they're even mind flayers are not what they're supposed to be. Is it so a mind flayer is when a tadpole enters somebody's head and they
Hmm.
become a different thing. But the tadpoles can also be put on different things as well. Like for example, if they put a tadpole in a beholder, it becomes like this very passive, like
A mind witness.
yeah, yeah. They use it for like different shit, which are the mind witnesses are really fucking cool. But like on top of that, it is a thing of if you just have the tadpole not be a parasite to something and it just lives out its normal lifespan, it just turns into a giant worm.
Yeah, yeah, I do remember that part.
Yeah, a
Oh,
neolithid is what those are called.
Neolithic.
Yeah, neolithid. Yeah. So it's just like it is a thing of just like mind flayers are not necessarily what it's supposed to be. In fact, there's like a whole thing of like, I guess lore wise for D&D,
That's a
mind
really good perspective on them. Is that they're supposed to naturally progress to neolithids?
yes,
Yeah.
but they have figured out we don't actually have to do that. And it's really interesting where it's like there's like a whole like lore thing of it of just like mind flayers actually are from the future and they like showed up and just started like basically their civilization went to shit,
Yeah.
and they like just suddenly showed up and just started doing this shit because they were like, okay, this is how we'll survive. We'll start like turning people into hosts and we'll live through them and we're able to do like different shit and better like sustain ourselves. Um but
Yeah. I like that future kingdom theory.
Yeah, yeah, that's
some
interesting.
wild shit.
We yeah, we're definitely gonna do a mind flare episode at one point, but
Yeah, that'll be
Yeah.
awesome.
um,
But,
but yeah, that's just something I thought was interesting that humanizes them a bit more and also gives them more natural fears because that's one of the most things
yeah.
about it is paranoia is built into a beholder. Like that goes
Mhm.
hand in hand. Like, which is interesting because I don't think there's any other monster that really like dragons. They built in little personality like vices of
Yeah.
just like this is how the disposition they might have. But usually it's just something like pride or something like that. You kind of expect anger, wrath, something like that. Something naturally being fearful but being so powerful is just interesting. You don't see that often with many monsters.
You see that in the real world all the time.
Yeah.
Oh
But
yeah.
the Neogi are also a good inverse of that
Ooh.
because fear and loathing are in Las Vegas. um, fear and hatred are very similar sides of the same coin. Same thing with like stuff that you love and stuff that you hate. It's for mainly psychologically the same reason. And Neogi, instead of trying to avoid and defend themselves from everything, go out into the world and try to subjugate everything. But beholders, their intentions are not immediately malicious. It's just the way that they take action against their fears that makes them malicious. So you can pity them where you can't pity Neogi.
Yes. Like
Um.
I do in a way I really like not to tangent off of beholders, but that's a thing of like I love Gnocchi because they're so fucking easy to hate. They're pieces of
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, they're evil. Just no redeeming factor about it.
Not a single one.
Yeah, beholders are at least kind of endearing. That's a silly little paranoid dude.
Well, it's
Mhm.
like there. It does make me think in certain factors of like for example, beholders hate everything, but they might have like that like underling of like a gazer, where
Yeah.
it's like the idea of oh they thought up a mini me and they're like you're not strong enough to like be an issue to
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
but you look close enough to me that I think you're kind of cute.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Xanthar with his goldfish, which is just a hilarious set
Oh
dressing
yeah.
for that world of he loves
That's
that
really good.
goldfish more than anything, and goldfishes die so easily.
Yeah.
So his apprentices have swapped out that goldfish multiple times, knowing if they mess up once, it's over for
They're all
all of
screwed.
them.
Yeah.
This
Which
city's
is
gonna
really
burn.
which is really funny. And I'm gonna give you guys like a little set preview. There's one, there's two,
Oh,
three,
yo, hell yeah.
four, just in the living room. There's three goldfish in that far one. They do not die easily. When you put them in a bowl with no oxygen
Okay,
and
yeah,
no
yeah.
substrate and no plants,
Mhm.
that's like putting someone in a padded room and being like, "Oh, they die so easily."
I mean,
Like,
Mr. Beast does it all the time.
yeah,
We put this homeless man
in a padded room for 100 days. He died
and I
day
injected
5.
him with malaria.
We forgot to unseal the door. They need
Mm.
food. How much?
Whoopsie.
One meal a day, one Mr. Beast burger one day.
I,
But what he doesn't know is that I injected that also with malaria.
So I will be in the room wearing punching gloves.
I cast fear on a beholder. Let's see what happens.
I had a
They already
this is
have
a
it.
this is another this is beholder related, but this is fucking I remember having a setup of oh what if I made a beholder where he got really scared of monks and so he fabricated
Like a
a
punch holder.
beholder. So it was basically a beholder where 4 of the stalks turned into like beefy arms and beefy ass legs,
A
and it
buff
was this.
holder.
Yeah, it was a buff holder.
Beholder.
I have like art of him too. Like it was like this goofy thing of like he looks like some fucking Sentai monster. He has like a little. It was goofy because it's like on top of that he's wearing like a little thong and you see a bulge, but it's like a thing where it's just like oh it just has another
Cranky.
tendril underneath. But it's like
Oh, like there's a
my
little
whole
eyeball
idea
down there.
my whole idea of it was oh
Ugh.
he has other stocks so he's missing 5 of the stocks and the other stocks could shoot beams too, but what it happens is the tendrils are like real thick, and what will happen is when they want to really lock in all the tendrils just come around so he has a radius of anti-magic and he just walks up and just starts beating your ass.
The radius is great.
That's great.
There's also
Ugh.
I forget one of my pseudo mutuals. I think it might be the D&D Shorts guy. Someone I think in a published book put the behinder, and it's just a beholder with a bunch of butts on his tendrils. I imagine they fart at you.
Ew.
Yeah, so that's real. That's published,
Mm.
so which makes it canon.
Oh no.
One thing I am noticing looking at their stat block, the only condition they're immune to is prone, and they don't have legendary resistance.
Oh yeah, they don't.
So
Yes,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
remember
charm
you
them
touching that on the
pretty
fucking
easily.
video.
That's interesting.
Fucking
Yeah, I do like that. I mean, well, it makes sense since they float, like them being immune to prone.
Yeah. One could like spin around at you.
mhm.
Turn around 360 degrees and hit you all the antimatter.
Fucking is I do like that idea of just like you try to knock it prone and it just spins. It's like literally you just start like fucking
Yep.
just flips.
Mario, I just need a quick clarification from earlier. Is it punchy monks that Beholder's scared of, or just monks in general?
Punchy monks, as in
Okay.
like it,
I just
like the
thought
like
I
feet.
could
I
I
thought
could
it'd be
picture it
funny of
just
just like an old Catholic monk just walking up to him, like just not good eyesight. Hello there, Sonny. How you doing?
no soliciting. I can't, I, but I love that. I think the concept just came up out of what if a beholder just had to deal with a high level monk just kept stun locking them. It just like kept stunning them. It's
It's
like
key. It's not magic.
it's
Just
key. It's
rapidly
exact.
poking him
Well,
in the
that's
ice.
okay. That's a good question because I've had this argument multiple
Mm.
times with somebody. Does key get affected by the anti magic cone?
No.
No.
Exactly. I fucking I've argued this with people before where it's like, oh, you can't stun a beholder because it has anti magic. It's like it's not
No.
magic. It's key.
Uh,
It's key. I swear.
Same question.
Hmm.
I imagine similar answer. Psionics.
No,
No.
no, not at all.
No.
No.
Yeah. No.
Mind powers.
No. I don't like
Different field.
looping everything
I
in
think
magic. I don't like that where people
no.
say like potions are magic. I feel like that should be science right there.
Well, they do replicate spell effects, so
Varies.
that gets a
Yeah,
little
like
yeah.
yeah, some, but like a basic healing potion or like
Yeah, like the spell was already cast. Like
yeah.
drinking the fluid doesn't get well. Yeah, that's an interesting question. Actually, it's more difficult to
Yeah,
answer.
because I've had a DM that was hardlined on that of you can't drink a potion since you're in an anti magic cone.
Hmm.
And that just kind of came thing. Well, once it's in my stomach, it ain't any anti magic, and then that just became a
I
whole
think
layered
because
argument.
there is, I would say, because I remember talking about this too, where there was a point where having a druid in an anti magic cone while they've shape changed, the way I ruled it was when
It's
you're
a
in the
feature.
cone, you get out of the shape change. The moment you step out of it, it continues on the shape change. Or not in shape, the wild shape. That's what I'm thinking of. But it's like it's this thing of like you have a thing on you. It doesn't necessarily turn off. It's just it is muted
That's
while
a
it's
good
watching.
point. Like, if you have a sickness, there are remedies, countless remedies for all the symptoms, not the
Mhm.
sickness.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
magic would work the same way. I remember walking into a dead magic field as a lich, and I turned into bones. And my players like had to gather me up and pull me out, and then I was like,
just make the dry bones noise.
yeah, literally the Lego dead noise.
Again, I I remember to bringing this up one time where I was like, Warforge. Do I turn off? Do I...
No,
Anti-magic
because
is a headache in
yeah,
itself when
I would
it's
love to do like a whole either video or podcast on just like the different types of magic because there's also divine and arcane.
yeah.
Well,
And
that
divine should in universe trump like I hate that word actually. Should like overlay like anti-magic because it comes from a god who currently governs the nature of the world. Is that a dead bit?
yeah,
Just chilling.
like
Yeah.
there's I think because the way that I
Uh-oh.
described it, the way I described it in my game, because that kind of did come up, is like, does my divine magic work in an anti-magic cone? And the idea was technically the way like in my setting, the way magic works is you are a conduit for magic. You basically funnel it out from something, be it divine or like whatever. So the idea would be like, say if you're like a wizard, maybe like if you want to cast a fireball, maybe you're like channeling stuff from like the elemental plane of fire or where what have you. The thing is, while in the anti-magic seal, it's basically like they've cut off your line temporarily. So it's like a thing of, oh, if you're a cleric and you're trying to use a divine
Oh,
spell, it's disrupting it. It's
I like
basically
that.
like you
I like
can't
that.
get
The magic exists, it can't be channeled.
Yes. So what
Okay.
happened was because, for example, player was an Azamar, and I've done this a couple times where it's just like I've had situations of, oh, there was like a plot point of enemies have fucked with a certain area, so it makes it feel more like the Feywild or something like that. Like it has more of a connection, and it was very palpable in the air. And it was specifically towards the wizard. I was like, wizard in the party, you're very in tune with this, and it feels immense. The energy here, like you can feel this. For the cleric, when there's that moment of the anti-magic swivels over and looks at them, I'm like, you've always felt this warmth around you. You've felt this presence with you. For the first time ever, you feel alone. It's this fucking
Whoa.
moment of just this thing just staring down on you.
I like that.
Fucking
That's cool.
Terrifying, but yeah, I like that. Real
That's
good,
really
real
cool.
good description there.
Mhm.
Yeah, the anti-magic or just like the styles of magic could be a whole videos in itself because there's so many arguments I've seen for like either end of things. But
DM's choice.
yeah, basically. It's interesting in one way or another.
Oh yeah.
That being said, it seems all of us have universally used beholders before. We've even brought up
Yeah.
a few examples of that.
I have more. I have one that I've been holding for like when we get around to the
You've
fucking.
been withholding.
I've been withholding. Fucking. Mhm.
You be- oh god, I don't need to. No, I'm putting that thought deep in my head, out of my head again. I thought of the other thing. The I'll tell y'all after the podcast. No, I'm not doing it.
Okay, I would do
Oh
it.
yeah.
For the viewer's sake, it's extremely ethical. It's just a complicated topic.
No. It's nothing crazy. It was just like, okay, I'll just say it. I was just thinking, like, what if there was a cuckold?
A cuckolder.
A cuckold. That's just awesome.
No, I said.
It knows where your wife is at all times.
It's manifesting other beholders to watch what they do.
No!
Man,
It's
he
the
does
only
that better than me. His face is cooler.
It's the only non-round beholder. It manifested in a chair shape.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, no, that was it. Because like my brain working the way it did was just like withhold. What's another word for withhold? I'm a clever joke. No, I'm not going to say that.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
What about stockholders?
Stockholder.
No, that's stupid. What were you
I
gonna say?
imagine they're just going to they're just going to.
Uh-oh.
They're constantly dreaming of the stock market crashing, so that'd be a very poor.
They keep manifesting it, and they can never get their stocks up.
No. I put all my money on the crypto coin.
And then I dreamed that it would tank, and I woke up and it tanked.
Fuck! Why did I think of that?
He just manifests a bunch of beholders that are even better at stock trading than him, and he just loses all his money taking their financial advice.
Oh my god.
Oh, that'd be awful. That could be a whole video in itself for you, Logan. Just like 20 stupid beholder variants.
Honestly.
That would not be hard to do at all. I will make a note of that.
Yeah. I like the
Fucking,
stockholder. I don't like the cuckolder as a concept, but I came up with it.
So before I spit out more beholder stuff, like what are some that you guys have used like yourself?
Oh, thank you. That was the topic I was going to get on before my mind did the thing.
Like homebrew ones that we've used, or just
Yeah, like or like any way that you've used them in a campaign before.
Oh, well, I used Waterdeep Dragon Heist, but that's the easy answer.
Mm-hmm. In my initial video about them that I made, like however many years ago, probably 4 now, maybe even 5. What the fuck? Time is not real. But when I made the video is that like if you put them in a campaign the way that they're designed, they will win. You can't beat a beholder. Like every moment that you spend asleep, every hour, they are thinking about how you are going to break into their base and kill them and putting countermeasures into play.
Mhm.
So I think I made the point like if you ever see a beholder, it's doing whatever it's doing wrong, like completely.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it. Yes. No, you're right.
But I guess their intelligence score is generally lower than that of like a higher level dragon. They're only
Yeah.
at a 17, so they're not as smart as they think they are. I guess I could and should lean into that more, but I'm a bad DM and I like to use humanoid creatures who are
No.
monsters on the inside more often. So I've got
Mm.
a bunch of beholders, but they don't look like little orb guys.
Yeah. My thought on it usually is yes, theoretically, if they had everything perfect, it should be. But my thought is usually their weakness is they hyper focus on the wrong things and not the reality
Yeah.
that could be coming at them. Like if
And that's
like if
that
they're
embodies anxiety so well.
yeah,
So well.
like they're getting ready for like say like a real world example like Yellowstone's eruption. They're getting ready, they're stocking up on fireproofing everything. They themselves are fireproof. The party that's coming after them are a group of ice mages and they're just like no.
They're wearing like I'm sorry, that's just a really good idea. I love that. Can't even add on that.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate that. But yeah, because that's always my thought of just like they have a wide variety of traps. Some that make sense to the party, some that just don't make any sense. Like a bear trap glued to the ceiling, and they're just like, why is that?
Will work.
That does honestly.
I have approximate knowledge of many things.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember trying to play into that when I had mine, where it was just like, oh yeah, and it was just like a goofy thing of. I did play into more just the fact of like I like having the villains sometimes not always being able to completely think of stuff where it's just like it is the thing of there is no way that they could anticipate the party. It's just more like the thought process of, oh, what if a bunch of guys came in here? So it's just like, oh, the monk ran up the wall and just went up this tube, and they realized, why the fuck is there a bunch of rocks here? Like, what is up with the boulder and everything that's set up here? And it's like, oh, well, the idea would be if you were below this, they would blast something and it would set up a trap. But it was a moment where it's like when they went up there, the beholder was like, what the fuck? And it just went up the tube, and it's like, what are you doing here?
I love that idea of like the inverse of someone who consumes so much media they think they'd be good at writing a story.
Yes,
And like they make Tiboldi flee. And you're like, well, you've seen all of it. What are you doing? Like you don't get it at all. And that would fit really well. If I were to remake that video, that would be the point I lean into. That's a lot of fun.
Creating the Doug Walkholder.
I already
I'm back! Pretty good!
my base looks like Vegas.
Why does it look like Vegas?
Yeah, like because yeah, like I said, that's the thought I had really put into is they are ready for a lot of things, but not everything, and that could be their weakness is they're focusing on all the wrong stuff.
Yeah,
Because
which would make sense out of the paranoia.
yeah, because there could be like one big threat, like in the area that he was ready for, like it was a dragon, Obelith, certain group of party, something like that. Because I know, they didn't really. I know, like he had some precautions, but obviously they didn't have it to the extent that you were saying, Logan. Which is something I always thought was interesting about the Xanthars. The Xanthar is such a public figure, quote unquote, in Waterdeep. That I was about to say, it nearly feels like it's defeating the purpose, like putting himself into in more situations to be paranoid, but also I guess that's just a good metaphor for anxiety in general, like you said.
Yeah, it's sort of like the capo in JoJo Part 5 How everyone knows who he is. He's this
Oh
enigmatic,
yeah.
mysterious figure.
Yes.
Nobody knows what he looks like. The problem is they put him on the fucking cover of the book.
That's fair. Excuse me. That's fair.
You're gonna get.
Yeah, I know. That's how I did mine. Is because my natural thought was, I don't know if the Xanthar does something like this, but my thought was like, all right, if Beholder's going to do that, he's going to want this lavish lifestyle that he feels like he deserves, but he doesn't want to get out there and be public so people know him. He needs that precautions. So what he basically did was he made him just a bunch of body doubles in the form of humanoids that he basically puppeted from a distance. And they were like his public faces that he talked through. So, and it was like a fun thing of like, I really enjoyed doing that at the party where it was the same person, but there were 7 different copies of him that he had operating out of different areas that he'd activate at different times. And every time the party met that person, there was something slightly different about him. Like he'd be using a different weapon, he'd be walking a certain way, he'd just random stuff like that. And that was just kind of hitting, seeing if the party ever the party never guessed it, but that was the revelation in the end that he just had a little body double army that he ended up sending at the party at one point.
It'd be kind of cool to have like the big reveal and it's just multiples of the same guy just like pop into the fucking room. It's just like
Manchun.
Yeah, because that was the big reveal. Cool. Is they're all doing that and they're all each have an eye laser dedicated to one of his beams. Like
that's sick.
Awesome. That's
like the Eye of Vecna. Imagine having one who has like 12 allies and they all have a beholder eye in the socket. Like a council of beholder. That would be sick.
Oh my god. It's I love that setup too, because it's like everyone is a stock of the beholder. It's like that'd be kind of fun to play around. Like it's a theme of just like, oh, I have the eye of fear or something, so my whole like bullshit plays around fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine they all like set up, they all get together and it's like the eyes like float out of them, so they just have like their base stuff and it like comes together and it forms the beholder himself.
That's some Binding of Isaac shit.
I never got to do him fully. That campaign got cut short and that whole story arc got cut out.
That's a shame.
So they got to meet him. He was like a very influential political figure. And yeah, there was something different for each one. Like the Sleep Ray one, he was kind of a drowsy person. The Stone Ray one, he had really dry skin. It was just minute stuff on top of like other details. But
yeah.
And all of them had an eye patch. That was a distinct thing. They all only had that one eye, which was the beholder eye. And each of them were different colors, so the party was slowly piecing it together, I like to think, but never got to do. I want to take that concept and put it in a different campaign. I just haven't found one I feel like fits yet.
I remember the most kind of out there one that I caught people off guard with was I did a one shot with a beholder, and the idea no it was a different one. It was one where it was I played into the dream idea where it's just he had a let's play channel. He
wore a mask and he took normal pills.
So he had this moment where the whole setup was just, oh, you guys are looking for these knights of a kingdom or something like that. They went into this weird cave and they were never heard of again. Or like not heard of again. It's not like it's like, oh, it's a long time ago, but it's like it's been a week and they haven't like come back. So go check out what happened. And it was this thing of like, oh, the opening of the cave is this perfectly round circle, which was like a big giveaway immediately. Like players were just like, okay, this is probably a beholder. But it's this thing of I kept describing, there is this constant wind that is like blowing out the cave. There is like this kind of smoke that is emitting out. And so they go in there and there are all these like little encounters of there's like a band of goblins and stuff like that that's in here. But the thing is, they're slightly off. Like there's things about them where everything, like a bugbear shows up and it's this thing of like, oh, they have these big clawed hands, but the claws start to like turn into knives at the fingertips. Like it's like all like they look kind of fucked up, and it starts to play into this idea of like a beholder being so self-absorbed doesn't know what some of these things really look like. It just has vague ideas of them. So it's this thing of like, oh, if it thinks of something as like having claws or something, it's like, oh, it compares them to daggers or some shit. So it's this thing of like, as they keep going deeper and deeper in, there are like more and more like weird anomalies. And eventually, when they reach the end of this little dungeon, they find a sleeping beholder. And when he wakes up, that like constant wind that's blowing is coming out of this beholder, and like the mist clears up. And when they look behind them, like 30 feet away from them, they see the entrance of the cave. The idea was they were traversing through the dream of the beholder that it was constantly
really
emitting.
cool.
And it wakes up, and it's just like snot bubble like pop, and it's like this thing of like entire dungeon behind you just disappears. Everything else is gone, and it's just like it is just him back here. And he had like he just petrified the people that you were looking for, and they were just these statues in front of him. And then
That's
it's
the
just like
coolest
commence
idea.
beholder fight. But it was super fucking fun. It was like I remember throwing the players off so hard where it's like, what the fuck? And like only one of them caught it. Where and it was this thing where they're like, I remember being so proud of myself because the player was like, wait, is that? And I go, the beholder wakes up and thus ends his dream.
That's really cool. I do like that.
It's
Sick as fuck.
super. I should use that again on somebody. But yeah,
Cool idea.
that's one of my favorite.
Yeah, because there's very few things that have reality warping powers like that, and both of them are unintentional, and that's like the Beholder and the Kuoto, I believe.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Kuto,
which both of them
they
are
can make their own
manifested through
gods.
fear. Funny enough,
Reverence and fear are very similar,
Mhm.
as one is want to love and fear and respect one's own god.
Nearly wonder if there's some overlap there, or at least like similar power that causes that. It's interesting.
You stumble upon a beholder fighting the tribe of Kuotoa.
They're like, we want to worship you, and he's like, get away, personal space, like blasting.
He dreams a beholder version of himself, but it looks like Doodle Bob. So it's like a Doodle Bob version, and the Kuotoa start worshiping it.
Like a two-dimensional beholder.
Yeah, a two-dimensional beholder. It's just like,
yeah.
I like you guys.
I was wondering if you could make perpetual motion creation machine of just like the Kuotoa make like a god manifestation of the beholder, then beholder becomes scared of it, and he creates like that again by accident, and they just keep one-upping each other.
Like
he
taping
dreams of Kuotoa
Button
that
Toast
won't leave
to a
him
cat.
alone.
Just keeps flipping over and over again.
That'd be pretty terrifying if there was a fishmonger beholder where it's just a fish head beholder that just has a giant gaping fish mouth full of eyes like a wide mouth bass.
Oh my god.
Why would you say that? That was so vivid.
Oh my god. I'm picturing that now where it's like fish mouth and like it opens up and it's the main eye. Like it's fucking...
There's a lot of parasites in fish and bass mouths. Have you seen the little guy that eats and replaces tongues?
Oh, that thing's creepy.
Yeah.
Audience, you ever come from a coastal town like me and you relate a little too much to the horrors of H.P. Lovecraft?
Audience, do you fear the ocean? You should.
Yeah. I don't know, like stuff like that. I like people are just like, it's like I don't get it. I'm like, I get it. I've seen stuff out there in that water, and it sees me too.
You stare long enough into the ocean, it eats you.
Yeah.
Goes
yeah, basically. And it was just kind of my thought of just like, what if the beholder made the Kuotoa beholder, and that's why I had the wide mouth bass. I'll add that to the list. Y'all don't have to take me seriously anymore.
I really like the idea of just I don't know. There's something there. There's something there with that for sure. Like in the sense of just
The fishmonger
these two
beholder.
these two things that like conjure up like conjure up ideas into being. Or I don't know. This is also like a thing of I do like the idea of literally scaring the shit out of a beholder, that it conjures something like it literally conjures a nightmare. Like I can imagine having a negative party, get like a bizarro party that gets formed
Oh.
into
Oh, like an
the world.
anti-party sort of? Yeah.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
like you're it gets so scared of your party members that it like basically generates
Like
their
better
nightmare.
versions of you?
Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah.
but it's also they don't. It's their own
They
sick, twisted idea of what a person is like.
so
It's
they would
like,
be like simplified versions of you that are really good at the one thing that it's scared that you
yes,
will do. That's so much fun to explore.
Like that. Yeah,
But I won't.
yeah, that was a Ziba Shu video I really
but
liked where he had the
oh yeah,
Kuatoa, yeah, making
yes,
manifestation of
the
your
player
party.
god. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because that was a really cool idea. I like that because I never really took Kuatoa too seriously, and then I saw that video. I'm like, oh, that's amazing.
Who did that?
Imagine Zibashu.
Oh,
Yeah.
Imagine having both things happen. You have like two versions of the party show up, and like later on they become plot points where it's just like you befriend them to fight like a bigger bad or something like that.
I'm nearly imagining that could be like the concept for a short campaign is just like a city in the Underdark has become the battleground between like these forces the Kuatoa and the Beholders keep making by accident, and the paranoia just keeps getting worse.
that's awesome. That'd
Yeah,
be really cool.
I like that. Shoot, that might be the next one shot to make y'all suffer through.
I'm down. I'm
I'd be
down.
down. Yeah, that's awesome.
Just wait until we forget. So, like a month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I enjoyed our last horror game, so I was like, shoot, how am I going to up that now?
That one was really good.
Ugh. Cause yeah, cause I've always liked them kind of Eldritch-like ideas, and Beholders really fit that for
Yeah.
me. Which makes me realize I really need to explore their dreams more. I've kind of explored them as individuals, but not really what the dreams you could feel like you can do a lot with. Because it's kind of given to you as set dressing just for how they're reproduced and like how these variants are made. But yeah, I like what you did, Mario, where you had a whole campaign traveling through a Beholder's dream.
Yeah, honestly, that was honestly. I feel like I could expand on that more too. Make something. I should revisit that idea.
Yeah.
Um.
Make a little Alan Wake game of just like them going through a nightmare.
Hey, son.
What that? You're thinking of Heavy
Yeah,
Rain,
that one.
Mario.
That one. No, that's it. Alan Wake. He
Yeah, when he was looking for his wife,
Alan.
Jason.
Yeah, it's his wife, Jason. He loves her. The beholder is it needs to Alan awake. Fucking.
That's good.
Anything else to say on beholders?
Uh, oh, Logan, did you say how you've used them before?
I haven't heavily, but I have used characters who have the same like undertones as beholders.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I would say the closest I got is a guy who, in that setting, was by definition a dark elf, but he was so ancient and vengeful and afraid of everything that he had lost and how he could gain it back that his foresight plans went fucking crazy. And the party did not outsmart him, which means I need to, better analyze characters who think that they are smart, but that's not how things work.
Hmm.
So I'm excited to use them again from this. This is the first time where I'm like, "Nah, I don't fucking know, but I'd love to."
I
Yeah, no,
had
I'm
it.
kind of the same way where I realized, like, shoot, there's so much more I could have been doing with them. I just
Hmm.
liked them being big, silly guys, but
Yeah, big
um,
spheres with Millie magic.
Little Millie
One
magic.
unexplored idea that I had wanted to do, and it was just more out of because I was like, that'd be really cool to draw. But idea I had was basically a Medusa inspired beholder,
Ooh.
where it's just basically like a floating Medusa who just has like the eye tendrils is like these big snakes, and their main eye beam would just be like a cone of like petrification.
That'd be. It's going to be called a stoner.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go. Let's go.
These guys have the best names because it's just like Doctor Who. Oh well, there's the Doctor and the Master and any other
Yeah.
And the pastor.
and the Rick Astor and Rick Astor
And the faster.
That's the point of the masker.
That's what the point of the masker.
Oh, I remember the joke I was going to make now when you get when you're making the dream beholder jokes, like you get in this anti-magic field and you're into normal pills is just anti-magic.
Emits normal pills.
I made magic, but they can never make me anti-magic. I hate all of you, and I always have.
I need to actually find out the context behind that. I'm just so done with that dude. I ignore anything I see about him.
Nothing. Opinions, though. Sorry, Dream.
I don't know if I'm really sorry to Dream.
I'm not sorry at all. Fuck that guy.
I hope you're doing okay. You seem like you need some therapy.
Yeah, go take care of yourself far away from
You need
us.
some normal pills.
Yeah, you need some normal pills, dude.
Maybe you need the normal pills. The most I know about you came from that not Wendigoon, the Papa Meat video, and that's
What, I was about to say
wrong.
Wendigoon.
Them
Ask
two
your
are like,
healthcare provider about quadrupling your.
Well, they are
normal
starting
pills.
to like. They're starting to merge
Congeal,
because of the
yeah.
fucking the Creepcast.
I listen to Creepcast a lot, so they're just
I
kind of
love
working together
Creepcast.
in my head.
I saw not the newest one, but I saw, not to go too far off, but the astronaut one fucking
That
kicked
was
ass.
awesome. Yeah, like Logan, I think you actually would like that if you never heard of that one.
It was a good.
I
good
don't know
short-
what in the goddamn hell you're talking about.
Yeah, we should send that to you later.
Yeah.
Because that was just a quick,
Yeah, beholders.
good one. Yeah, beholders.
Oh yeah.
My mind is tainted by us adding and making a beholder because I just saw Elminster on my screen. I'm like, no.
The Elminster?
Sir Ofnir, the all-knowing.
Anything.
Dung Eater? Is that what somebody said?
The do devour.
I think
The dirty diaper liquor.
I think Munchkin had a variant that was just a giant nose. I'm trying to remember what that one was called.
The mudslide
Sniffer.
madman.
Was it called the Sniffer? That's probably it.
Maybe.
The sniffer. The idea of just big nose. That would be a low tier fucking beholder to throw at people. You could just overwhelm it by like putting a bad smell in front of it. Just hit it with a stink cloud and it goes.
That was literally the episode of SpongeBob in like fucking season 6, where Patrick gets a nose for the first time and he's like, "Oh, good smells and bad smells." And then they roll like a big pile of shit and piss and like nasal Kleenex and shit up to his front door, and it smells so bad that it burns his nose off.
Oh. Sheesh.
Good episode.
Good
No, they get
episode.
nasty.
They get nasty.
It's time to get.
Would you say they go nasty mode, Logan?
I would say SpongeBob goes sicko mode, but not in a good way. At like season 5 and post.
Are you one to ones that believes Squidward's just being tortured for the sake of it now?
I mean, the writers definitely knocked him off his bike and blew him up like 5 times in one episode for no reason.
I will say I'm with them. That one clip I
You
saw.
know what? No. No, Squidward is an aspiring musician who has worked at the same minimum wage job for so long. His lack of ambition, I can't justify. Fuck that guy.
I think about a post that I saw
Like
where
you're
it's
about to
just
give a
like,
speech, so I just had to get ready.
Oh, he has no ambition.
the sad thing of like someone just saying like the sad thing about growing up is realizing more and more that I empathize with Squidward.
Yeah, it's so sad.
You
Is
also
that what
should
he
go
calls it?
take your normal pills and get therapy if you believe that.
Yeah. Look, if you feel like Squidward, there are helplines.
Yeah. There, at least tune your clarinet a little bit or something. Change the readout.
Yeah, God.
Yeah.
I
Squidward
love
beholder.
that roast joke in like season 1 where they're like, yeah, we're from a nearby pet hospital. We understand you have a dying animal. After he's like playing clarinet. That's like a cold open to an episode.
That's hilarious, actually. I never saw that much SpongeBob, but that's funny.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah,
We moving on to ratings?
I think we kind of said everything we can say.
Oh yeah.
But
Been like an hour and a half.
oh, hour 5 minutes actually. So a
Whoa.
little shorter for us actually.
Whoa.
All
I
right.
mean,
So
sweet.
I normally wait for y'all to go, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw mine out there. Boulders are a 5 for me. I love them.
Yeah, I'd give him a 5.
I would say 5, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect score
5 all
actually.
around.
They're
Perfect score.
unique.
5 out of 5.
Beholders and Hags. I think they have it.
Yeah, Hags too. Yeah,
One
Hags,
more
Hags
thing
are-
that I think is a near perfect score, if not a complete.
Goblins, maybe?
Were goblins?
No, I was the one that broke the mold on goblins. I had a
Hmm.
lower score for them.
I see.
I was the one that ruined it for you guys. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Let's see.
Goblins aren't meant to be winners.
Elementals was a perfect 5.
Elementals, yeah. That makes sense.
So this will be our 4-5 out of nearly, I think, right around 20 episodes. So we're doing a pretty fair ratio, I'd say.
Yeah.
How long have we been here?
As long as I want you here, boy.
That's valid.
And I'll stick
right.
around. This is
Well,
fun.
all right.
All right.
All right.
We'll be here as long as we're having fun. I think it's the kind of a consensus we came
Yeah,
across.
honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't feel like we've kind of summarized our feelings on Beholders, but yeah, that's just my summary on them is how diverse they are. You can make them to be literally anything, just how unique they are. There's just a lot going for them and how cool they are.
One of
And
them is
just-
literally just a beholder with crab claws, and that's in the fucking monster manual.
Yeah.
And I think at any level, Beholders are challenging because they have so much uniqueness to them, like
Yes.
with variety of their abilities. And anti-magic's solid across the board.
Just the raw idea of a dream that has come to life and is horrified of how detailed life is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
You can't really get better than that.
Yeah, it's a very fun, tangible Eldritch being, I guess is the best way I can describe it. In a way, you get what I'm saying,
Yeah, honestly.
G?
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
Wicked.
But,
Huh.
yeah, that'll be fun.
Take your normal pills.